this is the end game. He should be ahead because he actually had more pawns than me. But if you look back, I just played it a little better. I doubled up his pawns. It shows again how doubled pawns are so dangerous. So I had a double pawn too. My pawn was way ahead. So let's see what happens. So I take, and he takes one of my pawns. So it's really cool. Lichess has arrows telling you what you should do. Interesting. Lichess tells me I should have gone here because then I would have protected this pawn. Interesting. That's actually a really, really good tip. But I don't, so I get this pawn taken. And then I start checking and I start pushing my pawn. So look at how my pawn's getting pushed. By the time he realizes it's too late. So you know what he does? He tries to check me. But watch this. Now his king's gonna block this, and you do not want to check. You know why? Because I have a rook here, and if my king goes here, my rook can go here, protected by my king, and it becomes a skewer. But he doesn't realize that, and he accidentally skewers himself. So look what happened. I have a skewer. He can't do anything. He can't take because I'm protected by this. So boom, and then it's endgame. So I see that? It's that simple. And then he's finished. I think he could have won this, man. The good thing I did was notice I had his pawns doubled up very early in the game. And doubled up pawns are very bad. I've been really getting better about never doubling my pawns unless I have to. Things were going very well. But then you see, he ended up doubling my pawns too. And so now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I still am in the lead because my pawns are further up. I take it back. I think I had this game. And as long as I didn't fumble, I think the best thing I could have done was right here. So if I went here, he would have pushed this pawn. I still would have won, man. I was gone here, gone here. It would have been a check, forced him over here. Then I could push my pawn. He would have gone here. I would go here to sort of force him to stay here. He would take my pawn. I would go here. Oh, that's a pretty cool pin. And then I would take this. He would take this. I would go here. He would go here. I would go here. He would go here. He would try to protect his. Interesting. I would go here. He would get this. This would be a perfect attempt at a skewer. So then I'd be trying to take him. He'd threaten me. I'd go here. He'd go here. I'd go here. He'd go here. I'd go here. He'd go here. Oh, interesting. So I would have won this in a different way. This is very, very interesting. Go here. He'd block. So then I'd go here. I see. And because if he took my pawn, I'd do a skewer. So he would go here. I would go here. He would go here. I would go here. He would go here. I would go here. He would go up here. I would go here. He would take. I would go here. Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay, my analysis actually wasn't completely wrong. I think if he played it better, I actually would have had a much harder time. Wow, this is crazy. So when I first said that he probably had this, he threw it away, I was actually right. Look at this. Yeah, this is very hard for me. Wow. Look at this. It's just going to be endless. And yeah, because he's got this king in a more central position, I'm always kind of reactive. Look at that. Yeah, I see. He made the biggest mistake was that skewer right here. He accidentally skewered himself because he was so into checking because he was afraid I'd pass the pawn that he just didn't realize right here. You cannot skewer yourself. He's got more pawns than me, and he's got 2 islands. Look at me. I got an isolated pawn, an isolated pawn, an isolated pawn, and I have 2 pawns doubled up. We have 2 rooks, but he is in a very, very favorable position, man. I'm pretty sure I was going to lose this. So check out what happens. So he takes another pawn. He's up 2 points, and I have very bad pawn structure. Look at that, 3 isolated pawns. So I take a pawn, and so I take another pawn. At this point, he didn't play completely well. Let's see what he should have done. He should have threatened my pawn and then protected this other pawn, but he didn't do that. But still, he's ahead. All he needs to do is double up, and I'm in a lot of trouble. Plus, look at all these pawns, man. He should get his king into the game. He should get his pawns into the game. So let's see what he should have done. Yeah, he should have gone there. Okay, here we go. My battery was running out on my iPad too. It was really funny. So I was just winging it, man. What should I have done? I should have just pushed my pawn exactly. So I'm still trying to defend. Maybe I'm trying to wish that he slips up. So now he gets double rooks on 7th. This is really bad. Look at this. So I start checking. That's a forcing move I thought about. But honestly, I should have pushed another pawn. I see. Anyways, I check. He escapes. And now I finally push a pawn. What should I have done? I should have pushed this pawn because this pawn at least has a barrier here. I see. That's interesting because he's protected by this, so I can't. So this was pretty funny. He takes another pawn, right? He's doing well right now. So I just kind of stall him. See this? So basically, my thought is this is something I've never done, but if you keep playing the same moves over and over again, eventually in chess.com, you're going to stalemate. So he kind of realizes I'm just going to stall on time. So he tries to capture this pawn, or at least threaten this pawn. Let's see what he should have done. He should have just kept going. I see. Anyways, so I keep pushing my pawn. He captures these 2 doubled up pawns. I mean, they're kind of useless anyway, so I let him take it. So now, look at that. He's up by 3 points, and there was no way for me to save this pawn. See, because this is blocking. The moment I move my rook here, he's going to take my pawn. Again, this is not a queen, right? The rooks only have this control. Eventually, after thinking about it for a while, look at that. I thought about it for a very long time. Not only did I almost run low on time, I also almost ran out of battery, so I had to run in the coffee shop to a charger. It was hilarious. Everyone was looking at me like, this dude is really obsessed with whatever he's doing. So I was like, you know what? I guess I got to give up my pawn. So boom, because my thought is it gets him off the 7th rank. Now look what I do. So I think I might have a shot. Let's trade rooks, man. Let's trade rooks. He decides to get on the 7th, and this was a big blunder. And the most hilarious thing is, I knew he did the wrong move, but I still thought I was losing, that I don't do what I should have done. I should have just done that, right? But I don't. Instead, I moved my king over, and that would have allowed his rook to go back on the 7th, or for him to trade rooks with me. Exactly. But this is the point where he has an advantage and he gets shy. Look what happens. I don't know why he did that. It might have been a misclick. I told myself, you blundered twice. I'm not letting you go again. So boom. Suddenly, I'm ahead. Suddenly, I'm ahead. Think I might have this. He gets his king into the game when he should have moved his rook. And now I have double rooks on 7th. So he's pushing a pawn, not a bad idea, and I start taking. Again, this is protected. They're protecting each other, you see? They're protecting each other. So he moves his king out of check, and now I'm like, you want to trade rooks, bro? You want to trade rooks? And he might have given up. I don't know. Watch this. He just pushes a pawn. I don't know why. So I take his rook, and he realizes it's time to resign, because now it's very hard for him to beat me unless I blunder, which at this point, I'm already done blundering, and I know I got this, man. Especially I had my iPad in the charger. I was ready to beat him. So I beat this 800 level player. It's pretty good. He didn't have to blunder like this, man. He had it. He had it in the bag here. Look at this. He had it in the bag. Everything was in his favor. My pawn structure was really bad, and my rooks were not really in the right place, but he just unfortunately blundered the endgame, man. It's never lost, man. It's never lost until you get checkmated. I think this is a great lesson in that. I didn't play completely well, right? But eventually, I frustrated him enough that I was able to take his rook. Look at this. He blundered once. I didn't capitalize on it, but once he blunders twice. There it is. Yep. Jerry here, if you don't know who I am. I started chess in November. One of the things I'm still studying that's been helping me so much is endgames. I started by studying endgames, and that's what built my interest, besides some of the other variations. If you look at some of my early chess games, part of what kind of gets me to not resign as easily in the endgame is that I think I studied more endgames than even players that are higher level than me. So I think if there's one place to turn it around, it's the endgame. These past two matches, you could see both of them were turned around in the endgame. When I first started playing, and I might feature some of these matches, I would mess it up in the endgame. So I know if you don't get your endgame, you got to think backwards. If you don't know how to check correctly, if you don't know how to force correctly, if you don't know how to checkmate correctly, what's the point in having a lead? If they can turn it around in the endgame, unless you do some lucky checkmate or some lucky good move, then you're going to lose in the endgame. So I'm going to continue studying my endgames, and I'll have more endgame videos. Anyways, guys, a lot more to come. As you know, I've discovered a new passion, and I'm going to continue getting better. To all of you who've been criticizing me for being a beginner, I don't know why the chess community is this toxic, but you know what? I'm gonna beat all of you. The ones who've been smack talking me, I'm a beginner. What's the point in smack talking me? But you keep smack talking me, I'm gonna beat all of you guys who smack talk me. Now, anyone that wants to play me and learn together, feel free to add me. Feel free to add me. I love building my own chess community. As you guys might know, I have a big martial arts channel. This is my side thing. I'm not trying to take your gigs or whatever. I don't know why the chess community is so toxic. But anyways, the more you get toxic on me, the more I'm going to get better. All right, guys, a lot more to come.